Alrighty, Titans defeat the Eels. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Look, the Titans are they're weird because you watch them play for the last few weeks especially and you go, oh, mate, this Desi Hasler Titans, they've turned around. There's Desi Hasler DNA. It's looking good. Unfortunately, we have seen this from the Titans before. And then you go and look where they're 14th on the ladder. And so you go, shit, am I getting bamboozled by the Desi Hasler magic? Or are we really watching a side be turned into a Desi Hasler side? I don't know which one's true. Like, I don't know. It could be that we are witnessing a side turn into a Desi Hasler side, and next year they're going to come out the blocks and be exactly who we thought they were going to be this year. But then the numbers don't lie. They're sitting 14th. So I just don't know where to land with them. But from this specific performance, though, outstanding performance. And Campbell at 6 is getting more and more like, okay, it's not a question of like whether he should be 1, 6, whatever. More and more of like, you might have to build your side around this guy. That's how good he's been. Granted, yeah, he still had his missed tackles or whatever, but look, there's plenty of 6s and 7s in the competition that miss tackles. He is absolutely electric with the ball. And as I said, it's getting to the point where you might have to consider, mate, you need to build a side around this bloke. That's how good he is at 6.
I'm leaning towards that. And you know what? If he's going to play 5'8", and defensively there might be issues, but if he's playing the footy he is now in attack and it's lights out stuff, fuck, at least it solves one problem at fullback. It's one less guy you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Obviously Foles re-signed the other day, which is a great re-signing for another year. They'd be my halves pairing for next year.
And I tell you what, if you're a team going up against the Titans and you look up and you've got Campbell across, like, it's a scary prospect for any team defending a guy like Campbell. Like, he's not just good for a team that's running 14th. His skill level and ability to attack and create points is as good as any player. Like, put it this way, there is a world where if you put Walsh and Campbell both at 6, Campbell could come up with just as many points as Walsh. Now, I think Walsh at fullback is different because of that speed and that pace, but that's how creative he is with the ball. Even though they're actually smaller players, he's actually quite a different player to Walsh. But like, that's how high quality his attack is. Like, that's the tier it can be on when he's at his best.
Yeah, I mean, just on the Titans in general, as you say, Kempy, like I would have zero confidence they can come out and win any of their next 3 games because they're so up and down this season. As you said, they're 14th on the ladder for a reason. But if nothing else, there's some really good building blocks for next season. And there is a bit of Desi Hasler DNA to this side. I like what I'm seeing. They've got so many options. They've got depth in key positions, as we keep talking about. And yeah, as I said, around Jayden Campbell, he's defensively, there's going to be issues, and there always will, but he's been solid. It doesn't mean too bad defensively. There's a miss here and there's a miss there, but he's held up a lot better in the front line than I anticipated he would have with his size.
Mate, and also that hit that he put on the other rookie. What I loved about that, it's not necessarily that he forced an error. It's the want to get in the contact. And that's half the battle in defence, is toughness.
And the other thing is, mate, let's talk about the Titans as a whole and how they're building for the future. What did we say about Cameron Traldo this time last week about how year 1 at the Doggies, it takes time to build. You're not going to, you inherited a new squad. You're not going to get what you want. Things aren't going to happen overnight. It takes time. Desi's got this squad this year, and we've seen some growth in them despite ladder position, despite losses, all that. They're looking okay at different stages, so there's no reason why by next year they can't be pushing for a top 8 spot.
Yeah. It's I'm leaning towards we are seeing Desi Hasler. But I'm just so hesitant because we have to remember how up and down, even in this season, they've been. And the positive, one of the positives anyway, is the fact that we're looking at a team that may have sorted out its halves situation, at least for the next 12 months. Like, you've got a locked in, sorted, Kieran Foran is a 7, Campbell is a 6. Because Campbell probably, I'd assume he's only going to get better at 6.
Can he make the switch eventually to 7? Because you kind of mentioned that you've sort of locked in your halves for a little while, and the fullback thing seems to be taking care of itself at the minute. But still get a bit worried about AJ Brimson and like kind of where he sort of fits in. Campbell he looked great the other day. I just wonder whether has he got the skills to make it to 7, and then you could have Brimson at 6 alongside him as well. That Feels to me like
Like, I'd love to see it.
I'd love to see what
Saturday
happens.
3 p.m. would be unreal every
I tell you
week.
what, Hughes has changed the game for me, because if Hughes can go from the player he was to a 7, then like I'm like, well, fuck, maybe. But like, this is Campbell's last 2 games. He's got 6 try assists and a try in his last 2 games. That's how good he's been. So yeah, he's been phenomenal. Some other players, I want to give a shout out to Mub. Just a absolute pleasure to watch every single week, and every time he plays, it's Philip Sammy.
Yeah.
Like when we had some wingers going down and Selwyn wasn't available and all that kind of stuff, he was a guy that I was like, I wouldn't mind throwing him a jersey on the wing. Like that's with a few injuries with Queensland, because there's never a game. He's a bit like Rapana, where he just fights in every tackle. It's messy. It's all over the shop. He gets a bit lippy here and there. You're obviously giving it to Gutho with the Gutharina. Gutharina, like all that stuff. But
for charity.
It's obviously for charity. But that's what you want on your side. A guy that's going to rip and tear, get into the dirty stuff. I don't mean dirty as in like play dirty, but I just mean get into the real friction of competition. And he's always at the forefront of it. He had 247 metres. Sorry. Just bring this up.
Whilst you're looking for that, I love that Phil Sami just holds on to this Gutharino thing and just goes
Can't
after
let
it.
it
I
go.
think it's great.
So yeah, he had a try. He had 21 runs, 247 metres, 90 post contact, 5 tackle breaks, a line break assist, 12 tackles, only 1 miss. Yeah, I love him, man. I think he just rips and tears every time he plays. The longer he's on the field, the better for the Titans, the less he's injured, because he's just such an important part of the modern game of rugby league, and that's outside backs making a bunch of metres and being hard to tackle. So yeah, he was outstanding. Cam Pereira, just a try scoring. Like, what I like about Cam Pereira is like when you see the ball going to him and you're forgetting that Cam Pereira is about to get the ball, you're like, oh, they're not enough space. They're going to get run out. Like they haven't given enough space to score, and then you realise it's Cam Pereira, and that first 10 metres when he hits it, it's like the defence is in slow mo.
Here's one, mate. Like, I've been thinking it all season, and it comes to mind, honestly, every week with him. There are such highs and there are such lows. Like, Cam Pereira's bad games and defensive issues, whether it's like in contact or reads, they're very poor. But the upside in what Cam Pereira could be, like, it's very Fox areas, but I would argue almost quicker. You give him an inch and he's away and gone, and he just creates. The Titans, for all their defensive issues in recent years and trying to build for the future, you just have to stick with him. Like, he's got 36 tries in 36 career games at the moment. He's lethal.
Yeah.
Just noticed too, people were calling him for Queensland, born in Lismore.
Yeah.
Get him in there.
Another one, eh?
Lock him in, Queenslander.
But yeah, when you consider, as Timmy said, 36 tries in 36 games, and he hasn't played in a top 12 team yet.
Well, I mean, they were ninth when their last coach got sacked. Oh shit!
But you sit there and if you do persist with him, just go, nah, here's our guy. There are so many points in him. There'll be defensive issues. There'll be games where you go, why are we persisting with him? But gee, I think it's worth doing.
I think Desi Hasler's the perfect coach for him because he's had such experience dealing with these elite athletes and knowing how to round out their game. Like, if Fox stays at the West Tigers, no offense, he doesn't become the Fox.
Well, if everyone else stayed, he would have. Am I wrong?
Well, I don't think he had the coaching for him. I don't think he. And so my point was going to be.
They don't even need a coach if they all stayed. They sort themselves out.
My point was going to be, Fox going down to Storm and being coached by Bellamy is what rounded him out to be one of the best wingers of his generation. And I think that if Cam Pereira stays at the Titans and he's coached by lower tier coaches or coaches that aren't premiership winning coaches like Desi Hasler, he probably could go down the route of unfulfilled potential. But Desi Hasler, he knows how to get the best out of guys like Cam Pereira. He knows how to look at what he did with Tommy Turbo. Like, look at the season Tommy Turbo had.
That wasn't the funny guy. There was venom in that.
Yeah.
Upset, hurting.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I'm a bit emotional, to be honest.
Okay.
But,
Tough week.
yeah, it has been actually.
So yeah, Cam Pereira, I think under Desi Hasler, he will flourish. And I agree with you. Timmy is he's worth sticking with. He scores that many points. If his defence can be a bit touch and go here or there, you can round that out.
Again, find a really good defensive centre to pair with him.
Yep.
And just make it work.
And just
find a way to make it work.
And just make his defensive system on his edge simple.
Yeah.
Really, really simple. He knows his job. He knows what to do.
Two tries this close to a hat trick as well. Shout out to Dill Brown, I think, with the little, as he was putting it down.
Yeah.
Saved it. Clutch by him, but very exciting, Campera.
He got a feature in Team of the Week, obviously, but Chris Randall again, boys. Gosh, he's been a good signing.
50 tackles, 0 misses.
Needs to fix it.
So he gets signed from Knights as a number 9, and then they have basically they're flush with number 9s, and gets turned into almost like a bit of a Kurt Mann at the Bulldogs, where he suits 13 in the modern era perfectly.
But he's also just had a few knocks where he's just played in the front row. Just plays undersized and just goes at them.
Halves, everywhere.
Everywhere. There was one. He was named at number 6 or something at one stage this year. So Randall almost missed to fix it, and he's the kind of guy that at a maybe at the Knights he kind of out of sight, out of mind, gets put in reserve grade, and you just never know that he could sit in reserve grade for a long period of time, and then that's it. Goes to the Titans, and he's becoming a vital part of this side. That whenever they need someone to do all the cleanup work, all the tough stuff, like he'll take care of it.
And before that, it was literally the hooker before him, Aaron Clark, who's now playing in the front row week to week.
I just can't believe how much the game's changed in such a short period of time. If you had said a front row is going to be Aaron Clark and Chris Randall in it, or said, mate, they're going to get absolutely fucking steamrolled.
Yeah.
But the modern game, you can be smaller and more mobile.
That's what we'll get to it soon with the Broncos, but I had a few people message me on the weekend saying, that's what the Broncos get for picking 3 hookers. I'm like, the Titans do it every week. Doing it every week for 6 months.
Yeah. So, look, really, really good win. Both Mo getting through a bunch of work. Again, 14 runs, 126 metres, 49 post-contact, 5 tackle breaks, 43 tackles. He must have a motor on him. I'd love to know how he goes in fitness, because he fucking rips out the numbers every week, every single week. Anyone else stand out for you guys in the Titans?
All good, mate.
All good.
But, yeah, look, I think if you look to what happened at the Bulldogs last year, where he had to rip everything out to start anew. Now, Desi Hasler hasn't necessarily gone out and got a whole new roster, but it does kind of look like they've got a bunch of new systems, and that's why took them so long to finally kind of click into gear.
Oh, the one other. Holy moly, Jayden Campbell can goal kick.
Oh, yeah.
He strikes them so sweet.
Well. He's such a good player, man. He's such a good player.
So similar in many ways to his old man.
Yeah.
Fullback, halves, whatever, goal kicker.
Have the Titans signed anyone for next year as it stands?
Other than the rugby union fella.
Carter, yeah.
But yeah, so look, hopefully they can. I'll probably be eating my words in 4 weeks' time, but I do think that we might be seeing a bit of a turning of the corner for the Titans. Onto the Eels. Look, I don't understand. Sanders, is he injured? I thought he did get named, and then he
played reserve grade.
He played reserve grade. Okay. I guess. I understand that he's moving on from the club, but at the same time, I wouldn't be wanting to win the spoon. It's not like Jayden Campbell is like going to be a long-term 7, so I'm not understanding that selection. Look, we'll start with some positives. Regan Campbell-Gillard, he couldn't have done any more. He literally could not have tried any harder than he tried. It was one of his best games all year long, and he really picked up the slack, because you saw the effects of what they're like without Junior Paulo and RCG. Like it's like genuinely, when those two boys are on, they're at this standard, and then when they're not there, it's just like a totally different, like levels and levels below that.
It's literally like I know Moses wasn't there too, but when those two boys are on, like this is a potentially top 4 side. When those two boys are on, but they just haven't been consistently on for the last few months, realistically.
Well, see, I reckon they've been going okay, not as good as they can go. But my point is that when they either get subbed off or one of them's injured, the next guys up are like so far below them. You don't see. Just on the weekend they got dominated.
Yeah, it's so frustrating for Parramatta fans, because they're not your normal, team sitting last 2 in the competition. The squad on paper, as you said, Rude, they can be certainly a top 8 team. They've got so much talent on there. We've seen it. Obviously, Mitchy Moses out in this game, but I think sort of going to what I think you're going on to say, Kim, they're just lacking depth.
The depth is nowhere
They lose
near.
one or two in the outside backs. They can't really cover it. They lose one or two in the forwards. I thought at the start of the year maybe their depth was all right, but Sean Lane's had a bit of a down year. Bryce Cartwright's a bit hit or miss. They're just not covering it really well if they are light on in the pack. And since Hopgood's been out as well, they don't have the depth.
Jeez, haven't they missed him?
And it's tough. They're in the bottom 5 of New South Wales Cup and Jersey Flag too.
Like that club is just in such a bad shape right now. It's shocking because they have such a big base that you would expect them, after watching what Penrith have done, to lean into that and try and build systems. Like, granted, I understand it takes time, but yeah, their depth is just nowhere to be seen. Like, it is genuinely shocking that a team that would be so appealing to go to. You've got 6, you got 7, you got 1, all sorted, but yeah, on the weekend, just no good. 75% completion rate compared to 86% from the Titans. What do you reckon, Roo?
It's a tough thing, isn't it? Like Parramatta, you got all these teams in this competition that are struggling and missing so many things, and the vast majority of things that all these teams are missing, Parramatta have them in spades. The key positions, they just can't.
Front row and halves. And I know Mitchell Moses has been out for quite a while, but yeah, jeez.
Got a 5'8", got a fullback. Like the amount of talented back rowers that can't make their starting 13 week to week is just ridiculous. I'm not sure what you guys think, but geez, Bryce Cartwright missing the starting side for Matt Dury, that's hit me for 6. I can't work that one out.
Yeah, I found it really weird as well.
I think Bryce has been really good the last few weeks. I think he's been great the last 18 months.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening there, because you look at them and you even look at their stats individually, like, pretty good. It's just all the little tiny areas of their trail, all the 1%ers. We talk about intangible all the time. The biggest talking point, though, is Ryles is reportedly asked or is going to be released from the Melbourne Storm. I tell you what, if you're Parramatta Eels, that's what you want. You want him at that club, or if not at the club right now coaching, at least not coaching somewhere else, so that he can be just putting everything in place to build towards next year.
Yeah,
because they're desperate for it.
At worst, you want these players to have to come off the field and at least look at their future coach in the eye.
Like, I don't know whether he'd come in and coach now, just because I don't think you'd want to tarnish. Because like, if he comes in and coach now and they're still going bad, the fans will be like, oh, see, we're just this shit, blah, blah. But at the very least, him being
An overseer.
So that you're almost reporting to him to a degree. Because, yeah, at the moment.
I tell you what, like, if the Storm do release him, that's huge from them, because Ryles has been a part of the coaching staff and an integral part of it for a long time now. Like, I always thought he was going to be...
Well, he was, and then he went to Roosters, and then he went back to the Storm.
Yeah, I always thought he was sort of touted as the successor to Craig Bellamy, so I was surprised to see him go and get Parramatta, but he might be sitting there going, like, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to be a first-grade coach, I've done my time. For the Storm to say mid-season when they're in certainly a title window, that's big from them.
Clint Gutho, 26 runs, 265 metres, 70 post contact, 4 tackle breaks, a line break. I mean, does not stop trying. I've heard this kind of growing, question for Ryles is like, does he keep Gutho? Does he not keep Gutho? I've got to say, and I know there's been pushes of like, we have to keep Blaze Slungy, and I do think that is a priority. But look, be careful what you wish for in regards to moving on a guy like Gutho too soon, in my opinion. Like, for the life of me, I just don't think Gutho is appreciated as much as he should be at that club. And if they move him too soon and they put Blaze in there too soon, it could be a disaster for everyone. The club, Blaze. I think there are plenty of clubs that would love to have a guy like Gutho at the club playing for him. What do you reckon, boys?
I love the idea of moving Blaze back there, to be honest with you, but I do agree with you, mate. Blaze you are going to have to learn a lot of hard lessons for him until he's properly ready for it. And Gutho, no one puts in more effort week to week.
Mate, he just ran for 265 metres.
Yep.
That's a huge knock.
Yeah, and it's hard to judge this team without Mitch Moses, but I did just think quite often throughout this game, whenever they did go out back to Gutho, they're just very flat, Parramatta. They're very pedestrian in everything they do at the moment. And I know that Mitch makes such a huge difference to that. But there are times where I sit there and I watch Gutho as a fullback and I do go, fuck, I wish we had that upside of like a Blaze or someone playing there. But mate, like just his effort plays throughout a game, you just can't question them.
And his chat and everything. What do you reckon, Timmy?
Yeah, Gutho's my number one for sure, moving forward. Blaze Tongue has such a big future, but I'm with you. I've got such high opinion of Clint Gutherson. I think his ball playing out the back is terrific. He gets through his meters. He does all the dirty work. His clean-up work is outstanding. I'm with you. I think he's underappreciated. I think there's every chance he's come back from injury a little bit early this year, and despite running the meters, maybe he's lost an ounce of pace at the moment and he's playing because they're battling, but I have such high opinion of Gutho, and I'd be keeping him at one. I'd be keeping certainly Blaze Tongue in the side. Defensively, there's going to be a couple of issues, but I think he's found for now a home on the wing. I think if moving forward, especially he's so young, he's going to get bigger. He's going to grow into his body. With every game Venrelli plays, he'll get more and more used to tackling men. And if Mitchy Moses or Dill Brown are off on, well, Moses on origin duties or there's injuries, maybe you can just slot him in at 5'8", but I think on the wing as a young bloke learning under Gutho, I think it's a good spot to be.
Yeah, so like there's been kind of growing calls of like they may have to not re-sign Gutho to put Blaze back there, but look, granted, I understand why Blaze would feel like, mate, I'm ready to play fullback. I want to play fullback. I get it. You know, we've all been there. But at the same time, like, play your trade just for another year or two under Gutho on the wing. And then, depending how things go, you know, as Gutho gets a little bit older, you move to fullback and he moves to centre. Because I tell you what, the pressure on Blaze, let's say they did move Gutho on. Even like before this year, they moved him on this year, heading into next year with Ryles. The pressure for a young fella at Parramatta Eels to take up after Gutho, because not only do you have to play extremely well, but Gutho is one of the most consistent fullbacks in the competition. That's what you're going to have to replace. It's a tough gig. He's got the talent, but I would be waiting another year or two. If
Gutho was to like move on and it was to happen, they went, no, we're going all in on Blaze. As good as Blaze is going to be, I think it'd be one they'd just regret and go, holy crap, we underappreciated this bloke, he does.
And that's the thing, there are growing kind of talks about what will rise. Gutho is the number one, situation, but me personally, I think that's...
I have questions about certain members of this team and like how badly they want to be there, how badly they want to win, all these sorts of things, and Gutho is the last bloke on that list.
Agreed. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting because I do think Ryles is going to be tapping some bloke on the shoulders, heading in. And going.
Well, he has to. Yeah. It's an underperforming roster for a few years. He's got to go in there, and there are enough good footballers in there that doesn't need to be a full clean out, but there's going to be a lot moved on.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on the Eels, boys?
No.